All right. We are on live. We are on live right now. Very good. Hello, everyone. I'm here today with Donna Hetrick, and we're going to talk about being resilient and healthy during social distancing. And Donna's going to talk about exercises to maintain or to lose weight. And so I hope that there's a lot of nuggets she's going to share today. And Donna has been with us before. And so, and she's going to talk after I do a little bit of review. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And today is actually episode 6. We've been doing this for our 6th week now, and Donna has been with me, I think, about maybe 2-3 weeks ago. So much appreciative for you to join me today again. And so I'm just going to do a little bit of update, and then she's going to talk about doing some exercises for weight loss. And then I'm going to share some exercises for someone that may be at home in isolation or in quarantine. So let's go ahead and start with, I'm seeing people joining us right now. That's wonderful. All right. So we are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. When the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves, by Buddha. So positivity, positivity, positivity. So keep your mind pure, keep your mind full of positive thoughts. I know it's challenging in the environment we're in right now and what we're facing, but we will all come out of this together, and we will get there eventually. So again, I just want to do a little recap on what's going on, what's the latest thing that are happening right now. These are the sources that I get. Clinical presentation, again, I put this up that most of the time the symptoms of COVID-19 or is fever, cough, shortness of breath, body aches, tiredness, and also abdominal pain such as nausea, vomiting, and pain, and also headache, sore throat, and rhinorrhea. So at this point, from the ER perspective, if you're there, they're gonna think that you probably have COVID, and there's a high sensitivity to pick this up. 80% of symptoms are mild, 20 to 25% are severe, and 5% of those severe are goes to the ICU. So let's compare some data on what we have in Virginia at this point. So in this is compared to last week, today, the 23rd, compared to last week. So the first number you see is what was last week, and the second number is what it is today. So in Virginia, as of today, 64,000 has been tested. That's actually an increase from last week of 18,000. Of those that are tested are 42% female and 48% male. And the ones that are tested are usually done by doctor's order, either done in the hospital or in the ER or in your doctor order a test, and you go to a facility to get tests, or your doctor may be doing the test there as well. So it's not something that anybody can decide, well, I'm going to drive through and get one. It's usually through some symptoms that the doctor feels that you need to be tested. Positive cases, out of the 65,000 that were tested, about almost 11,000 is positive. So that gives you about 17% of those that are tested are positive. That means 83% is actually negative. So that's good news. So this is what the number we've been seeing. Compared to last week, that's 14%. So it's almost about the same. The highest county of positive cases in Fairfax, Prince William, Arlington, and Henrico. And in our region, which is the Rappahannock region, the highest area you'll see here is in Stafford, where last week was 54. Now this week is 180, followed by Spotsylvania. Last week was 36. This week is 94 positive cases. Followed by King George. Last week with 13, now it's 21. And then Fredericksburg last week with 10, now it's 20. And Caroline last week was 4, now it's catching up to Fredericksburg up to 21 at this point. And so I want to point out in Fredericksburg and Caroline, there are no deaths. They're hospitalized, very small, only 3 people have been hospitalized, but 0 deaths. And King George, there has been 11 hospitalized, but 4 deaths. In Stafford, 38 hospitalized and 2 deaths. And Spotsylvania, 20 hospitalized and 3 deaths. So about total of 9 deaths. And if you add this all together, it's 58. And then so 69 out of 9 out of 69. So about, if you look at that, that's about maybe, say that's a little, about 10%. Hospitalization. Hospitalization this is in Virginia. Last week was 1,300. This week is a little more than 1,700. That's about down to 16%. This is of note is that 68% of the people that are hospitalized are less than 65 years old. So this is no longer a disease that affects only the elderly. It actually affects the young as well, and they're hospitalized as well too. And so, but interestingly, these people that we see here with death here are actually older. They're in their 70s and 80s. So if you're young, you're hospitalized, you're probably going to come out of the hospital. And last week was in Virginia was 208. Now this week is 372. The PPE supplies are actually getting better, but they're not optimal at this time. And so have we passed the peak yet? So this is in Virginia, and this is week by week, and we are around, right here on April 19. However, there's a lot of cases that's not been reported. So we peak around April the 5th. And then last week it came down a little bit. So are we going down, or are we still staying here? So we'll know more by next week. All right, where are we on the curve? We're probably right here on the curve right now in Virginia. Social distancing is working actually. And we are not, our capacity of healthcare capacity, we're not overloading the hospitals at this time. So social distancing and community events cancellation and shelter in place is working at this point. Vaccine, let's get some vaccine, 18 months to about 2 years. However, it is a race between US, Europe, and China. And it is a national movement. Who gets it first? Because whoever gets it first gets to dominate. To dominate, because whoever gets it first is gonna give it to their citizen first before they export it out. And whoever gets it first will probably be the supplier for other countries that cannot have the vaccine. And then whoever gets it first have licensing and worldwide distribution. So it is a race right now. In China, there's about 1,000 scientists working on this, and they actually started testing on volunteers at this point, but we are still not there yet. We're still months away, because you have to understand that you're infecting a healthy individual with either the virus RNA at this point, or the actual virus itself. Remember, measles, which has a high infection rate, we only control measles by vaccine that we have now. So they're working on it right now, but it's more to come. All right. So another thing I want to bring out is that COVID-19 is more prevalent than we think. This is actually good news. A recent study on April 11th by Stanford University, they looked at 3,300 healthy individuals. These are individuals that are healthy in Santa Clara County. They don't even know they've been sick, and they were randomly tested. There was they looked at blood antibodies. So they were tested, they were given a skin prick, and they were looking at antibodies against SARS-CoV-2, which is the virus that causes COVID-19. So what they saw was that they saw a population weighted prevalence of 2.4 to 4%. So what that means is that if you extrapolate this number to the general population of Santa Clara County, if you take this number, this is the prevalence, and times it by the population, that means that 48,000 to 81,000 people in Santa Clara County at that time had been infected already by early April. And the actual confirmed cases, that is confirmed by positive tests of mainly through the nasopharyngeal or through the nose, is about 2,000. So what this means is that the actual confirmed cases is a lot lower than what is really is happening there, because these are people that are confirmed with antibodies at this point. So that means that we're looking at a 50 to 85 fold increase more than what is reported. In LA, same thing. You have about a prevalence of 2.8 to 5.6%, and you're looking at a population of about 4 million. So you're looking at around 100,000 to 200,000 people that have already been infected, when the actual confirmed cases in LA is about only 16,000. But these are, again, tested by nasopharyngeal test. So it's good news in that it means that the fatality rate is a lot lower than what we're seeing at this point, because the denominator, which is the actual cases, is a lot higher, and that the numerator is the number of deaths. And it's probably going to become like the flu, which is the fatality rate of the flu is 0.1%. So it could be there, or it could be a little bit lower. The new publication coming out that it's also saying that COVID and COVID-19, this is serious. That it was published in a Journal of American Medical Association, JAMA, on last week, on actually the 22nd. And they looked at 12 hospitals in New York City, and between March 1st to April 4th, where 5,700 patients were hospitalized at the 12 hospitals. And of the ones that were hospitalized, 20% of them died. And if they're on the ventilator, 88% of them actually die. So it's not good if they're on the ventilator, which is a poor prognosis. And of those hospitalized, they observed 63% were men, and they have high blood pressure, diabetes, and obesity. So this should not be taken lightly, in that it is a fatal disease for some that are at risk, and mainly we're looking at more comorbidities of high blood pressure, diabetes, and obesity at this time. So again, scientists in New York are discovering that obesity is, along with age, is the biggest deciding factor in hospital admission at this point. So when you want to use this crisis to get the time that you're at home, the time that you have now to protect yourself and protect your loved ones, because we're starting to see a preponderance of the individual that are older, but also individuals that are younger that have diabetes, obesity, which means a BMI over 30, high blood pressure, insulin resistant, heart disease, have more severe cases. And then if you have more severe cases, more hospitalization, and more hospitalization, and you can, and then ICU, and then a ventilator. So modifying these comorbidity can actually make you more resistant and resilient to not have severe symptoms and require hospitalization. All right, let's some updates on some recent treatment that you hear a lot about these medication here. You hear a lot about hydroxychloroquine. However, this medication has a lot of side effects, and one of it is causing rhythm disruption in the heart. and especially when it's being used with azithromycin. So it does have some side effects, and also um, if you have like heart disease, and if you have a condition that's called G6 P6, which is glucose 6 deficiency, it make you more prone to getting more complication. And so these medication that you all see here at this point, there's no randomized control data demonstrated it is effective yet. So right now, these medications are used in compassionate care cases and are only in clinical trial. And there's not one that has stand out. You hear a lot of talk about convalescent plasma, which is taking the plasma from an individual that's been infected before and then doing a transfusion. But we're starting to see that it's creating a fluid overload, and it may even impair the individual that's receiving the transfusion and impair antibody response. And so this is wait to be seen on evolving treatment for COVID-19. And if you want to get tested, you need a doctor's prescription. I mentioned about Better Med, but now Mary Washington Healthcare is having facilities in Princess Anne, and then also at Mary Washington Hospital, and also King George Urgent Care. You need a doctor referral for that. Primary and urgent care on South Point, and also they have one on Route 3 is also available for testing as well. I leave this up here because a lot of people have asked me, how long do coronaviruses live on surfaces? And as you can see on paper and ceramics and glass and metal, it can live up to about 5 days, wood about 4 days, and then plastics and steel about 2-3 days, cardboard about a day, and aluminum is just in hours, and so steel surfaces are about hours. You can wipe that away. And remember, you can always wash it away with soap and water, especially with your hands. And the thing to do is disinfect our surfaces in your house daily, and wash your hands, and don't bring your hand to your face. And please wear your mask when you go outside, even outside the house. If you're exercising outside, you may not need to wear your mask. I was in DC today doing an interview for TV and one American Network News, and there were people running around wearing a mask. So that's I find that gonna be a little difficult. So things to do while you're at home. A lot of things to do. I hear now people are sewing masks, bake and cook for your neighbors, elderly, and please take care of the healthcare workers. Learn something new. Work in the yard, go fishing. That's my favorite pastime with my family, and my husband and son doing that frequently. Walk, walk, walk. And there's a free app. I downloaded this myself. One of my patients told me about it. It's called Map My Walk. It's a free app you can download, and it measures what your speed is when you're walking, how far you're walking, how many calories you burn. So I want to put out some site. You can take a picture of this where you can do home exercises for free, and it's for all ages, and it includes exercises for individuals in wheelchairs, individuals that are using the walker, the ones that are most susceptible to getting severe disease. So if you go to this site right here, there are tons of exercises that you can view on YouTube, and for a patient in wheelchair, and the one in walkers as well. And there's also a free 14-week program that you can sign up at this site right here. 14 weeks, free for all ages and physical status, and even for individual with disability and for the elderly. It's a personalized web-based physical activity and nutrition program, and it targets people with mobility limitation, chronic health conditions. And the goal is to get you moving and making healthy choices, nutritional choices. And how does it work? And you go and register for the program, and they will contact you virtually, and we'll go over a nutrition program and video program and weekly exercises and group meeting. So it's a lot of motivational resources and weekly recipes as well. So if you have anyone with a disability, have them check this out. And also a free program called Mindful Meditation Series. And this is a link for that. I know that's a lot. So take a picture of that. And it's a meditation series. I believe there's about 10 of it on meditation. I'm a big proponent of meditation. So I think it's good for the mind, good for the body. You see the slides a lot. We're gonna talk about exercises, which exercise we know boosts your immunity, and exercise is it's a feel me good hormone and it's good for you overall. I have a friend, he lost 15 pounds, and when he lost 15 pounds, he doesn't have any more high blood pressure or high cholesterol anymore. And that 15 pounds is only 10% of his weight, but still it made a big difference for him. And also I want to stress again, doing acts of kindness or watching acts of kindness also boosts your immunity as well. And so don't forget about our heroes. Our heroes wear scrub. They're out there fighting for you. They're taking care of our sick ones, and they're making sacrifices for themselves and to their family. Some of them I know are not even going home. They're staying in a separate apartment, staying in the basement. So please send them food, thank you card, and acknowledge them. These are the ER staff at Spotsy. This ER staff as well. I just got that. So now we're gonna have Donna talk about staying fit and lean during COVID-19. Donna is a personal trainer. She's a dietitian. She's been in the area for a long time, right, Donna? How many years have you been in the area?
38.
Oh my goodness! As long as you've been born, there, right? Yeah, you've been here since the day you were born. You're only 39, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and how many clients you think you've had over the years now?
Oh, hundreds.
Yeah.
Yeah, hundreds. Yeah.
Hundreds, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Donna is also a great, good friend of mine as well. And I'm so glad that she's here again with me. And I'll probably lean on her a lot during this time about lifestyle, fitness, and nutrition. So it's all yours then, Donna.
Okay, thank you. Are you going to put my first slide?
Yeah, okay. Just
Okay.
tell me next.
All right, perfect. All right, so here we are 6 weeks in. If you see a little head popping in, this is my best worker out partner, Lily, my cockapoo. She was with me all day long when I'm with clients and when we're out in the great wild outdoors. I have been absolutely thrilled to see so many people out hiking, biking, walking. I live in the community I'm in now. I think we've been here 23, 24 years. I have never seen so many people out and about in the community as I have now. So people are definitely taking advantage of the time that they have home, and I'm just hopeful that they will be able to maintain some of that and pick up some of those good habits that they're creating or picking back up, and when they get back to work, they'll be able to continue. Being outside right now is one of the best places we can be, especially when the weather is good, right? If you are somebody who is already fit and you have a gym membership and you haven't been able to get there, then you're somebody that's going to want to tackle some hills. Do some trails over in the Lee Hill Drive Park, which is, you go off the main drag and you can get some hills and get some climbing in because that's going to be more challenging. If you're somebody that just is really deconditioned and you haven't been doing a whole lot, then just getting out and walking, even if it's just from your back door to your newspaper carrier, then that's where you start. But if you're looking for a little bit more challenge, always put those hill climbs in, because they'll get you huffing, they'll get you puffing, and they're not as hard on your joints as running, jogging. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but 3 times your weight is the amount of impact on your joints. Dr. Truong deals with this all the time, as she is, helping people rehab and keeping them up and going. I'm a recipient of her PRP on one of my knees for all the many, many years that I've been running, but I personally find that I can get even a better workout, hill climbing, that's easier on my body than running at this point in my life. So get outside. That's really a good place to be. One of the things that I wanted to mention is that we are very sedentary right now, a lot of us. Even people who are working, they're working from home. And so you're sitting, you're behind a laptop, you're in a chair, and it makes it hard for your metabolism to stay at peak. So there's a NASA scientist a number of years ago who coined the word break gravity, which I love. And basically what she's saying is that if you've been sitting for more than 30 minutes at a time, your body by chance at that point is going into a hibernation phase. And so things just kind of settle out, and it's like, well, he or she's not going to be needing a whole lot from me anytime soon, so I'm just going to turn things back a little bit. And that's not what we want at all, especially if we've been enjoying ourselves during this pandemic, so food-wise. So break gravity. That means if you are knitting, if you're crocheting, if you're playing games on your laptop, if you're watching a movie, you should get up every 30 minutes and just go to the bathroom, go get a glass of water, get up and walk around the kitchen. Just doing that really can help contribute to helping you maintain your weight or help you not gain as much weight. I was always the one that says, yeah, I'll run down to the basement and get that jar of tomatoes. Walk really quickly to your mailbox, walk quickly to your laundry room when the buzzer goes off on your dryer. Not every workout has to be 30 minutes of unending time and movement. It can be in little bits and spurts. And if you're deconditioned, maybe that's the best way for you to do, is to just increase your amount of activity in your day-to-day life. But really pay attention and make sure that you don't sit past 30 minutes. If you have to set a timer on your phone or on a timer, that's a good way to help do that. So when you are looking at what type of exercise is the best way to get the biggest bang for your buck, it is a combination of resistance and cardio. Dr. Truong, I sent to you a couple of handouts. Did you get those?
No. Well,
okay.
Was it recent?
I'll resend them to you. One is a resistance workout where you use nothing but your body. And the other one is a really great chair workout that I sweat when I do it. I've created both of those for clients, and I will be happy to share those with anybody that contacts you. You can email them to them, or however you've been doing that.
No,
okay,
we'll email them after this webinar.
Okay, sure. So when you combine resistance, which is strength and creating a muscle contraction, along with movement, it's always going to give you the best results in terms of calorie burn, and then also just the best toning for your body. I always tell my clients, if you're just doing cardio, you're like a rat on a wheel, and you're only as good as your last workout. When you include strength training and resistance work, you are actually creating lean muscle mass that allows you to get away with sitting a little bit longer, sitting a little bit more, being a little bit more sedate, maybe getting a little bit more away with, snacks and things that you've been enjoying during the pandemic. But you always want to be a, mean, lean fighting machine. And to do that, you have to keep your lean muscle mass up. So I'll be demonstrating some resistance and cardio combinations, and then there's that whole workout that you can get that would give you something that you could follow along with. All right, if it's been a while, start where you are now and not where you left off. Depending upon your health condition and your fitness level, just being off for 6 weeks could make it so that you really can't do exactly what you were doing before, and that's okay. I recently had a client that connected with me. She lives out west, and we've got her all getting going on a new way of eating, and she's all excited. And I said, hey, you know, why don't you throw in some hill climbing along with what you're doing? And she was very hesitant at first, but then she decided that, you know what, I'm going to give that a shot. And man, she got out there, and day number one, she did it. She conquered that hill, and then she went out there the next day, and I think she conquered it a little bit harder. And guess what? On the third day, she's complaining that her hips hurt and she's having all these pains. Well, guess what? She sits all day long behind her computer doing Zoom meetings and whatnot. And when you sit a lot, you shorten your hip flexors, you shorten your psoas muscles, you shorten all those muscles that surround your hip area. And they're really painful when they get tight. And then when you throw in there some hill climbs, you know, you end up having a lot of pain and discomfort. So if you are just starting out, it's been a while, make sure that stretching is just as much a part of your program as the movement. Anyone over the age of 45, stretching and flexibility is every bit as important of your fitness condition as your cardiovascular and your strength. So you really must make that part of what you're doing on a regular basis. All right, next slide, please. I think this is where I'm going to need to get up. All right. Okay, so now I want to demonstrate some different things. Could you do the next slide? Thank you. All right, so this is going to be interesting. So I want to make sure that you can see me in the camera. So let me push this back a little bit. All right. I'm going to demonstrate some body weight exercises. So here's a really easy one. I'm going to turn my chair to the side. This is what I call a stand up and a sit down, okay? You stand in front of your chair and you act like you're going to sit down, and then you change your mind and you stand back up. You go down and you come up. So this is what? A modified squat. You can do this in terms of how you can make a goal for yourself that you do as many as you can in 30 seconds. If that's too difficult, then do 10 of them in, you know, whatever time it takes you to do 10. Form is always better than trying to crank them out and having you end up hurting or using other muscles that you shouldn't be using to try to go fast and you lose good form. So another one that I love is called a walkout plank. So let me see if I can still stay in the camera. Holler at me, Dr. Truong, if you lose me. So a plank, we all know what a plank is, right? So a plank is when you go, did you lose me?
No, can't see you.
Hold on, let me put the camera down a little bit. All right, so this is a plank. Can you see me? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a full body plank. So when you do a walkout plank, you use your hands to walk yourself out into a stand-up position, and then you walk back out again. And again, you can do these by number, or you can do them by time. So you can time yourself, and listen to me, I'm breathing already, okay? You can time by, say, 30 seconds to see how many walkout planks that you can walk out and come back. Now, this is also a flexibility move. So I'm pretty flexible because I stay active and I stretch every day. But if it's difficult for you to get the whole way down to the floor, you can always do them onto an elevated surface, like a stair, like a set of stairs, or onto a chair. Don't ever be afraid to modify. One of the things in my last slide, I give you some examples of things that are available to us by video, on television, on YouTube. I mean, there's everything out there. Dr. Truong mentioned the app for walking. There's so many ways that we can track what we do. We can watch other people, we can follow. And hey, this is a great time to check things out that you may have thought about doing, like different yoga classes, and maybe you were embarrassed to go into a class because you weren't sure if you could do it or not. Now's a great time. I know that the Yoga Foundation of Fredericksburg is, they're streaming live all of their classes for a donation the entire time during COVID-19. So you can try things out. They can't see you, you can see them. But it's a great time to be able to experiment. And there's a lot out there that you can follow. So if you're not sure what to do on your own, and now, you know, of course, gyms aren't open, that would be one way that you could check out some classes. So one of my absolute favorite things to use, particularly for women's bodies, and I train women, is hand weights or dumbbells. All right, and everybody knows what a hand weight or a dumbbell is, where I put them. So right here, this is a 5-pound dumbbell. And so these we use to do bicep curls, chest pull-ups, tricep kickbacks, okay? Another one of the handouts that I'm going to send Dr. Truong is a beginning strength trainer workout. If you are somebody who, you know, is been in the gym the past 5 years knocking it out, it's not going to do a whole lot for you. But I will tell you this, when I have a new client and I walk them through that workout, I always get a little bit sore because it's a little different than what I do. And so using these hand weights is really a great way for you to target muscle groups. When I have this weight right here and I am lifting up, all I'm using is my deltoid, my shoulder. When I am curling up, all I'm using is my bicep. So the injury rate using hand weights, with the exception of dropping one on your foot, which I've done before, is really low. A lot of women, particularly petite women, don't do really well on all those big machines at the gym because they are small and the equipment just requires them to use multiple muscle groups to complete one move, and you can strain or overdo. When you're doing a bicep curl like this, it's really hard to hurt yourself unless you, like I said, drop the weight on yourself. You can also do that in a chair. So you can do a seated version of this where you're sitting in a chair, upright, make sure your back is up against the back of the chair and curling upward. So if you wanted to, and you have a favorite program, or you would just rather have your mind on something else other than working out, you can sit your chair in your family room in front of the television and do your weights, you know, while you're watching TV. And maybe that's kind of a payment. I don't want to say punishment, but kind of a payment that if you're going to sit there and watch a show for an hour, maybe during commercials, you can have your hand weights and you can get up and do a set of bicep curls, a set of overhead presses. You can do tricep drop downs, all right, and work those into your commercials. And by the time you're done with your show, you also got your strength training workout in. I think that's a pretty great idea, actually. All right, so another form of home equipment that's not expensive and is easy to get is called a kettlebell. Now this one may not be as recognized as the hand weights that I just demonstrated, but this is a really cool piece of equipment because of how it works the body. When I mentioned to you earlier about the body resistance and the strength along with cardio, the kettlebell will give you that kind of a workout. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I might have a link on the next the next slide that gives a link to a kettlebell workout from drmercola.com.
Is that it?
I have a resistance band one. Okay, I can actually provide that to you too.
Okay.
So the kettlebell is something that you would do in a lift type of thing. If you're standing with it, you can do a drop down either side and take it the other way and go down. You can also do this amazing swing type of movement that works the glutes And boy, you do this for 25 times and your heart rate is gonna go up and you're gonna start sweating because you're using core muscle strength. So this would be something that you could go on to the internet. And I actually recommend drmercola.com because he's got really great trainers. So if you just look up drmercola.com and you put in kettlebell workouts, you're gonna get certified personal trainers that give you, workouts that you can follow. My kettlebells are 10 pounds. I have a 15-pound also that I use for specialized things. But for the most part, I find for the most women that I train, 10 pounds is plenty. So that's something, and that might be something for those of you who have been walking and working out with dumbbells that you could add into your repertoire that might be fun, something a little different. All right, resistance bands. These are great, they've been around forever, and of course, physical therapists use them all the time, so a lot of people who are in pain management or getting physical therapy are very familiar with these bands. So you can stand on them and do a bicep curl, a chest pull. You can do pretty much work the entire body with this band. I love it because it fits in a suitcase, right? And this is the workout that is on the next slide that you can go to. It's a complete resistance band workout by a certified personal trainer on mercola.com. All right, so that would be something that you could look up and that could give you something that you could follow. Now, one little note about this is that if you are purchasing bands, these bands have different weights by color. So the red is difficult, the green is less difficult, the yellow, so when you are ordering them, you would want to order according to your strength and make sure that you get one that if you're wanting it to stretch, you would want a lighter weight as opposed to strength training. You want it to be more heavy duty, have it be harder for you to use. So lastly, and I wanted to be able to show you this in how this works, but it just didn't work out. I'm in the lower part of my gym where the lighting is better, and so we're just gonna have to show you this. This is called a TRX band, all right? So let me see if I can show you. This part goes on the side of the door. When I travel and I fly, this is always in my suitcase, because guess what? Every hotel room in the world has a bathroom door. And I can always put this over my bathroom door, and there's always a hallway or a space that I can use my TRX bands. Now, these TRX bands are very interesting. They are not like the resistance bands. These give, okay? In fact, if you're not careful, sometimes you can, hit yourself with them. This is like made out of a car seat belt. They're that tight. And what you're doing is you're using body resistance. So if you go to a gym like American Family Fitness, they actually have a TRX cage. It's a big area, and most times you're required to have a personal trainer with you. You have to get trained. They use it for rehabilitation, for stretching, and for strength training. This home gym system you can get on Amazon for about $150. Comes with videos, like a DVD with a flyer that you could hang up and follow. And also TRX, the company, has an app that you can sign up for. And every day I get emails of them demonstrating a different move or a different combination. So I get ideas all the time of ways that I can use this with my clients. This is another great tool that you can use for the cardio and resistance combination. It's a really, really great tool.
And what's TRX stand for, Donna?
I have no idea. No, isn't that terrible? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So now hold that up. How does that go over the door? Is that
okay?
What
So
part goes over the door?
So let me stand up with it. So this is a weight right here, and this weighted end goes over the outside of your door, and these two bands are what you pull on and do lunges and push-ups and tricep drop downs. I mean, you do everything. It rocks.
Wow.
It's a really great workout. It really is good. And the thing is, I have been able to use it with every level of client. If you're ambulatory, I can put you on a TRX band workout. You just have to modify. So, you know, when you get these app workouts, it's usually a lot of young kids. They're 25 years old and they're jumping up and down. They got their legs in the bands and all this stuff. Don't be intimidated by that. You know, just look around on the internet for a workout that would be more geared toward your physical ability and your age. But it's a really nice piece of equipment. I really like it a lot. We use it a lot. All right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. Now, the Dr. Mercola site, is that free, or is that you have to sign up
totally
for that?
free. Yeah, Dr. Mercola has the largest online health and fitness newsletter in the world. So you guys should get used to, like, you should familiarize yourself with Dr. Mercola. He's a physician. He's retired now, so he's no longer practicing. He lives in Florida these days, but he has just a tremendous amount of information, and everything's up to date, and it's just really awesome. So I would highly encourage that as a resource. Another one I love is Groker. Are you familiar with that? Groker.
No.
Yeah, it's Grokker, I think, and it's a fitness app, and they have workouts online. The only thing I would, again, just really, you know, put a caution light up about is that you might have to modify. The instructors are young, they move fast, and so age to keep our form and whatnot. Sometimes we need to do things more at a leisurely pace. It's just really what's better and healthier for us. So just be careful, you know, when you see it, and you can look at any of those and modify it to, you know, your ability. It just gives you really, really good ideas.
I'm going to put that under chat. Spell that for me again.
I think it's Groker, Grokker. I believe.
Grokker.
I think it's out of Australia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Groker. All right.
It's
so
great.
It's an app?
The other thing, excuse me?
It's an app.
Yeah, it can be an app, or you can just go onto if you put that in and do it on your search engine, you'll get all kinds of workouts coming up, and YouTubes. See, these companies all put YouTube videos on the internet, and you can access any of those for free. You know, again, the only caution would be is that you're just pulling something up, and you may need a modification, and it may be difficult for you to know. The other thing is, if you have a cable subscription, you have exercise videos at your fingertips 24/7, any time of the day, whether it's yoga or cardio or strength training. I mean, there's just so much out there. It's really very, very easy to access. You know, it's kind of like, you really don't want to do it if you're not seeing any of it, because and so you just kind of have to find what's going to work for your body. Yeah. But yeah, so that's what I've got for you today. Just, you know, stay moving. Use this time, just like when I was here a couple of weeks ago talking about, you know, getting yourself back in the kitchen. This could also be your time to get yourself back in the gym. You know, and this gym is going to have to be creative for the moment, because until they open back up, it's going to be outside or your living room. You know, gosh, I know so many people that have home gyms and they don't ever go in them. So, you know, it's, you know, you don't have to put a lot of money into equipment to get a decent workout at all. I mean, basically, I tell my clients, if you have the space of the size of a closet, you can get a body resistance workout in. That's all you need. A mat and that little bit of space. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Thank you. That was very helpful. I have a kettlebell, but I don't have a 10 pounds. I bought a 25 pounds. So no
Ooh,
wonder
that's
I've
a
been
big
having a
one.
rough time moving it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
get
have,
yourself a 10 pounder because you can get good control with that and you can still get a really good workout.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
good. Because where did I get a kettlebell?
Wow. I mean, now, I think that, Target and Walmart may have them. I mean, in terms of like walking into a store, I know most of us aren't shopping much these
Yeah.
days, but if you have it shipped, I would try Amazon because if you have Prime, they're not going to charge you shipping, but because they're heavy, But typically, I would just, what is that name of the? Oh gosh, it's out in our mall. It's a sporting goods store, Dick's. Dick's
Oh,
has,
okay.
someplace like that. But usually, Target has a pretty nice little at-home exercise equipment section in their store.
Well, okay. Yeah, that's good to know. Usually I'm an Amazon girl, so
Me
I
too.
definitely gonna get those 10-pound kettlebells
Yeah,
to use because I'm one of those people that are been sitting more than I should be, and
right,
I can tell my body definitely changing. My hips are
right,
tight. My hips are tight, and my cardiovascular tolerance is not as good as it used to be.
right,
And I try to be active. So
right. Yeah.
yeah. So the last slide that I have there is actually home exercises for individual that are actually either quarantined at home and are not able to get to are not are quarantine or in isolation, and they're good exercises for just very light because when you're sick with COVID, you don't want to
Oh, great.
exercise
Yeah,
that strenuously. You just want, but you do want to do some exercise to get your lungs breathing better. So the last
right,
thing you want to do is to have atelectasis, which is the condition where there's collapse of the sac of the lung called atelectasis, and that will cause you to have pneumonia, and that will cause you to
right.
go to the hospital and get hospitalized. You don't want that. You want to get the heck
Yeah,
out of there.
right.
So I've included this in the exercise here at the truongrehab.com/home exercise guide. If you type that in, it's gonna take you to a site, and it will give you 12 exercises to do with breathing, arm
Oh,
exercises, just
great.
lying down exercises that will
Uh-huh.
promote better breathing. But also one thing to promote is not muscle development, because if you're sick and you lie down in bed, your muscles start to atrophy or get die down, and then your breathing is affected. You're not breathing as well, so you become very, very short of breath. And anytime you try to move, a couple of years ago, I was down with the flu, and boy, after 1 week, and I came out of it, I can barely walk up and down the stairs in my house or even take a
Wow.
shower. And I didn't do these exercises like I should. But these exercises are created for people that are bedbound, that are in the hospital. So anyone that is quarantined at home or in isolation with COVID, these are great exercises for them to do, and for yourself as well, because they're not available. They're usually available in what we call the inpatient rehabilitation center, but I modified that for now for home, and it's a good resource. And definitely not if you're at home with this, you shouldn't be doing kettlebells, other things we're talking about. We're talking
Right.
about people that are, what Donna talking about, that you're at home and you're in isolation at this point. So we are now open for any type of question at this point. And you can type that in the chat box. And now I know how to open the
Do
chat
that.
box, thanks to your daughter, in fact.
Right. Yes.
And
Our
I
Jerry.
I know
Shout
Jerry.
out to Jerry Hetrick.
Yeah, Jerry is
That's
actually
awesome.
here too, and she said, "Hi, hey Lily, hey Donna."
Oh, that's
So she's on
awesome.
here. She's supporting us, and
Oh,
I
that's
also
awesome.
typed in. I typed in on the chat box rocker, Groker,
Broker.
Groker,
Yeah.
for everyone. And so I don't see anything on the chat box. And
Okay.
so I'll start, I looked on Facebook too. I don't see anything on Facebook at this time, but I'll just, ask you some questions. So what has been the challenge that you've observed with individuals that are staying at home now? What challenges are they facing?
I think, one of the reasons, like as a personal trainer, one of the reasons people come to me is because they have a difficult time doing stuff on their own. So now they are stuck at home and they have a lot of other responsibilities if their children are home or if a spouse is around that normally is not, and they're just kind of out of kilter, out of routine. So I've been just trying to support them, giving them ideas of things that they can do while they're at home to stay active. And also what seems to be working the best, and I think it's why I'm seeing so many people out and outside walking and biking together, is something they can do together. And so, a group activity that, it's less than 10 people, they're living together, their family, they're okay to do that. But I think the biggest challenge has been just that their entire schedule and routine just went up in smoke almost overnight. And so they've had to regroup, and some people are better at doing that than others. I also see a lot of depression, lack of motivation, because of the situation. There's a lot of anxiety. People can be very crippled by just the fear that comes with a pandemic like this. And so that's been another challenge, is some people, I've just been working with them to stay motivated and to overcome their fear. And, the biggest, best way to deal with depression, hands down, number one, research has proven this over and over again, is exercise. And so if you can get yourself up and moving and going, that is going to offset a lot of that anxiety that could be very crippling for a lot of people.
Right, and we had Delise last week talked about
Yes.
Anxiety,
Yes.
and she recommend actually a routine, getting
Yeah.
into a routine, a habit every day that will manage your symptoms that
Yeah.
of anxiety, because you're focusing on your routine, you're not focusing on
Right.
what's going on around you that you cannot control. So
Right.
that is reassuring
Right.
to hear. And so when you're talking about these exercises, what's the duration? 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 40 minutes? And what's the exertion?
Yeah, so a lot of that depends on the individual's fitness level and what they're used to doing. It also can depend upon how much time can you get away, Can you go lock yourself in the bathroom or a bedroom, depending upon what you've got going on in your household. But you can get a fantastic resistance and strength cardio workout in 30 minutes or less. And, I'm not a big fan of 2-hour workouts. It's not realistic. It's hard on your body to be doing the same thing over and over again. And quite frankly, if you're spending an hour on a piece of equipment at the gym and you're not getting the results you're looking for, it's not, you're not putting out the type of energy or exerting the type of energy that you need to create that chemical change in your body. So I'm a big one for interval training, incorporating strength with movement. It keeps it interesting. It shakes it up. It challenges your body, kind of tricks your body a little bit. So, you can get a decent workout in 20 to 30 minutes. Now, 30 minutes if you're including your warm up. We always want to warm up and, add a 5-minute stretch session at the end of that too, because as I said, if you're all gung-ho and all you're doing is tightening everything up, in addition to already being tight, you're gonna be hurting in a couple of days of doing that. But at the same time, you can go out and walk for an hour, grab a couple hills in that walk, and that can be awesome too. But you can also go out and find a hill and walk up to that top of the hill and back down 3 to 5 times, and that's your workout. knocked out in half an hour. So it's really, doesn't have to be long, you know, enduring endless periods of time.
What is it? 3 times a week, 4 times a week, or 5? What do you recommend?
You know, if you look at the recommendations, you know, that the, I don't even know who it is, the United States Fitness, whatever, puts out, they're wanting you to get 120 minutes of cardiovascular movement in a week. So if you are breaking that down, you know, into days, and I'm telling you, you know, to do that, you know, in 30-minute increments, say perhaps you're looking at, you know, 3 to 4 days a week. I love the idea of being active, and what is the, I'm trying to think of the term that I use, because it's the term I use with clients when I want them to remain moving. I can't think of it, but basically being active throughout your day all the time. I really truly believe that that makes such a difference. And you know, it's all that silly stuff like parking your car as far out in the parking lot and walking the longest distance you can into the store. Now, obviously, if it's torrential downpouring and you use a walker, you're not going to do that. But you know, for most of us, we can park our car instead of looking for that closest space, park a little ways out and catch a few more extra steps in and out of that store. Same as in your home, walking up a set of stairs. You know, you have stairs all through your house. Most of us, even if you live in a single story, you either have a basement or steps off of a porch or something, just walking up and down those steps once a day. Walking briskly. You know, one of my favorite outdoor workouts is to walk, I like to do steps, like walk for 30 steps fast and then kind of, you know, reduce it for 30 steps. And that way I don't have to look at a watch. I don't have to time anything. I just go by steps. So, you know, if you are changing things up such as that, you can exercise 7 days a week without injuring yourself if you are doing active things that aren't hardcore, but maybe 3 days a week, you do a cardio resistance combination for 20 to 30 minutes. You're gonna see a difference, particularly if you're not doing that at all now. That's gonna make a really big difference in your weight loss, your ability to release weight, your ability to keep the weight off that you lost. Your clothes are gonna start feeling, you know, a little differently, just like now, a lot of people are feeling like my clothes are feeling differently in a bad way, you know, in the opposite way. But, you know, yeah, 3 days a week would be my minimum recommendation for actual workouts where you are breaking a little bit of a sweat, getting a little bit of breathless, not for an extended period of time, but just for a little bit. And then active rest, that's the word. I love that, active rest. So that's breaking gravity. That's getting up and you see the mailman and you walk as fast as you can out to your mailbox to get your mail and walk as quickly back. And count your steps. Just see, you know, how many steps does it take me to get to the end of my driveway? You know, anything to kind of keep your mind going. Those pedometers and those apps that you were talking about, Dr. Truong, are fabulous. They are very, very motivating. But for you to have a goal and, you know, it gets to be 6 o'clock at night and you only got 4,000 steps in and your goal was 8,000 or 10,000, you know, it gives you something that you can work up to. But 3 days a week at least, and then being actively rest the rest of the week, just trying to move as much as you possibly can within your capabilities and your physical ability.
Well, I like that. I like just move, you know, move as much as you can. And that's what I try to do. And also I want to say that the Marine Half Marathon is actually doing virtual too. Yeah, they're doing a virtual marathon and they allow you to do 4 hours and you can walk, run, whatever for those 4 hours and you get a medal and a t-shirt.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know how you're gonna prove that you did that. I'm sure, but you get 4 hours, but it's only 13 miles. And my patient said that, she's gonna
Yeah.
do it. All she does is walk. Yeah,
I
all she does is walk,
fantastic.
and she's gonna do it so she can just get a medal and a T-shirt.
Yeah.
So it's a goal. I mean, it's in May,
Yeah.
and it's about a month away, and
Yeah.
maybe it's a goal to do.
Yeah.
You
I think it's a great idea. I think having goals for a lot of people is really important. I mean, there are people like me on the planet who just love to exercise. It just, it's easy for me. I just like doing it. I feel good when I'm doing it, but not everybody does. And I remind myself when I walk into a place like, where's all the craft things? People go for craft stuff. The big store out by the Spotsylvania Mall where people buy crafts. What's that place? That's what I'm talking about.
Michael's.
Yes, when I walk into Michael's, I get hives. All right, I don't craft. I don't do any of that. And I always try to remind myself that that's what a lot of people feel like when they walk into a gym or when they're told that they need to exercise. They break out in hives. So I know that not everybody enjoys it, at
Yeah.
all. But so
Yeah.
having a goal is a really motivating thing. The problem with that is you always have to have one, because as soon as you achieve one, you better have something else set up, because if that is your only motivation, then you got to have something to back it up and be striving for something else.
Yeah, no, I'm one of those goal oriented person. So before, for me was running and getting my time, and then playing tennis.
Yeah,
So and I miss doing that. I miss playing tennis because
yeah,
you get this competition going on, and then you get the cardio. And but luckily, I have to say I'm lucky that all members of my family were able to play tennis together, and we're
yeah.
able to do foursome with
Nice,
that. So
nice.
we're going over like an hour. I don't want to keep people on for too long.
Okay.
I don't see any other questions at this time, but I think we answer a lot of it already. I'm much appreciative of you being here with me again. You're
Sure.
always a resource for me. If I don't know anything, I know Donna does. I just text her, and then she's always guide me in the right direction somehow. If she does, she may know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. So she's my go-to person for this. So I'll get this exercise to you as well, in case you know somebody or somebody knows somebody that has COVID that is at home. But I'll send me those you said you were gonna send me like the TRX. Was it the exercises? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The handout.
Yeah.
The handouts for that. And I really like the aspect that you're saying, keep moving, even you're sitting down watching a movie between a commercial, do something. The other day I was watching a movie, and in my hand I have my 10-pound weight. I'm doing this. I have some elastic bands on my legs. My husband was laughing at me. I was sitting there. Huh?
It was balanced.
No, he's sitting there eating chips.
He was.
He's eating chips, and I'm like doing bands with my arm, and he's like laughing at me. But he's the type of guy to eat whatever he wants, doesn't exercise very much, and loses weight without even trying.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I know. Well, very good. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and we'll see you next week, same time, same day, Thursday at 7 o'clock for episode 7. All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye.